What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm Sunday Game Day. Happy Week 5. I'm Howard Bender. With me, of course, Jon Impemba. And oh, baby, John, here we go. We had a nice game on Thursday, sort of, unless you were a Russell Wilson owner, and then all of a sudden that just turned to crap for you. But looking ahead here to Week 5, we're in the middle of Jets Falcons, 20-3 at halftime right now. That one, I mean, yeah, I don't know. You tell me. I have nothing to say about this game.
Did the Jets make a mistake with their quarterback selection this year, Howard? I mean, what's the deal with that? Are the Jets just cursed? Are they never going to have a good quarterback? Is it the system? Is it just he needs some seasoning here? I mean, he looked okay last week against Tennessee, but I mean, Atlanta is not a good defense either, and he's not looking good.
He's not looking good, and it's a little on the disheartening side, to be perfectly honest. I don't know what to say about it. I really don't. It's incredibly disappointing. Listen, I was one of the first people who said that we shouldn't be getting rid of Sam Darnold.
Dan Arnold should have also been on
Dan Arnold, your boy. Where? He's not the dartboard. Where is he? I thought you were putting him in the dartboard.
He's in the contrarian corner video, Howard. So he's within the coverage. I may sneak him in the dartboard when this is over with. We'll see.
No, it's too late. You can't do it.
It's never too late.
It is. It's 100% too late now.
Yeah, it's too late.
But anyway, I was one of the first people to say that getting rid of Sam Darnold was a mistake. The Zach Wilson pick I thought was a mistake. I think that Sam Darnold could have developed beautifully in this offensive system that Mike LaFleur and Robert Saleh were putting together. So I honestly don't know what to say about it. It's incredibly disappointing, borderline trashy, and I mean that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's we'll see. We'll give him a couple of years, right? You're not going to fire the coach right away.
No, I mean the coach is fine. I'm not worried about the coach. It's the choice of quarterback, and I mean I don't know how much that was, I don't know how much that was for for Saleh's choosing, or whether or not that was management. But I didn't like the move, and again we're gonna have to see. Rome wasn't built in a day. You're certainly not gonna rebuild the Jets in 1 year.
No, for sure. That's what I'm saying. Give the coach some time with the quarterback to develop. Most rookie quarterbacks aren't good, so we'll see what happens there. Years 2 and 3, if they can surround him with a better offensive line, some better offensive talent at the receiver position, maybe, and maybe an actual running back. Just maybe a whole offense would probably be good for the Jets.
Could use a nice little overhaul. All right, well that game's underway. We got a lot of other stuff going on here for week number 5. Again, if you want to get your questions answered here on the live stream, you got to go over to our Discord channel. All right, that's fantasyalarm.com/Discord. You do need a subscription if you want to be in Discord and you want to get your questions answered. There is a live stream section in both DFS Alarm and the Fantasy Alarm servers. So if you don't have a subscription and you still want your questions answered, there is a way to do it. And that's just go to fantasyalarm.com/NFLQ and sign up for the seasonal package. It's $10 a month. And let's face it, $10 a month to get 4 weeks of questions answered by me, John, everybody in the Fantasy Alarm family. It's definitely worth it. Also want to give a shout out to Yahoo, who's Yahoo Daily. That's our partner here. And we've got this contest still going. You can still have time to enter. Go to fantasyalarm.com/beatbender. My lineup is set. I might make a tweak or two here, once this live stream ends, but I'm all set. And listen, that's what's great about that contest is $3 to enter. You at worst get your money back. At best, with $150 plus a $10 credit for beating me. That's right. Everybody who beats me gets a $10 contest credit to their accounts over at Yahoo. If you have not signed up and played daily fantasy at Yahoo, again, very simple. fantasyalarm.com/Yahoo, promo code ALARM. That'll get you a $25 contest credit, and it'll also get you the DFS playbook for free. So another way to get your questions answered and only costing you $25 here, or not even. I don't know. What's the deposit? Is there a deposit minimum, John?
We've been saying a $25 deposit. So I'm not sure if that's what it is, but that's what it has been from the beginning. So I'm going to go with that one, $25.
All right. That's the one John's going with, and he's sticking to it.
Yep.
So that's what we've got going on right now. Obviously, everything over at the Fantasy Alarm and DFS Alarm, all the questions that you need answered, all the tools, all the articles, all the content, it's right there. A couple of interesting stories, John, as far as like who's in, who's out. Well, I mean, we just got a whole mess of like this guy's playing. Antonio Gibson with the stress fracture in his shin, he's playing. Curtis Samuel with a groin, he's playing. It looks like the Lions are going to go with Penei Sewell. He is going to play. That definitely gives them a boost. I don't know if it's that much of a boost. They still don't have Frank Ragnow, their center. DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, TJ Hawkinson, they're all playing. How about this one here, John? Dalvin Cook is going to – he's a true game-time decision. If he plays, obviously, there's no guarantee for a full workload. How are you handling Cook and Madison, both seasonally and DFS-wise?
I mean, DFS-wise, I'm not playing Cook at all. If you're in seasonal and he's active, I mean, I guess it would depend on what you have as an option, right? I mean, it's unfortunate that they're saying he's going to likely have a shared workload. If he's not 100%, does he see 5 carries? Does he see 8 carries? He didn't look good at all last week. I'm actually in this position, however, where I have Dalvin Cook and Alexander Mattison, and I'm wondering if I'm being too smart in like thinking of playing Madison over Cook, even though Cook could be active in this one. Like, it's a tough situation to be in, knowing that there's, the potential. Coach speak is always the worst speak, right? Like, oh, he's limited. He may not have a workload. He goes out in 25 carries, 125 and 2 scores. You're like, what the hell? I thought he was going to be limited. Where did that come from? He's like, he started feeling good. He was good to go. So it's a tough proposition. But in DFS, I'm a full fade. In DraftKings, I mean, in seasonal, you probably have to play him.
All right. Well, there you go. John, any questions in Discord or any other points that you feel we need to absolutely address here before we start getting to the questions?
No, not really. I mean, the Cook one was the one I was really taking a look at. I think that was the toughest decision so far on the board, is to understand what you're going to do, because it's a great matchup. Lions ranked 30th in DVOA against the run. So, you would want to have exposure to that running game. In DFS, Madison is probably a really good contrarian play, maybe even. I don't know if many people would be trusting Madison if Cook ends up being active, but Cook could see 3 carries or something like that, and Madison gets the big workload or gets the red zone work or something. So, and he's cheap. He's cheaper than Damien Williams is today over on DraftKings, where everybody's going to be looking at value. So it could be a really nice pivot to Madison here. If Cook is limited or and whatnot. So one way to look at it, Howard. But we do have some questions over here in our Discord. Again, if you're watching this, go to our Discord live stream QA channel and put your questions in there. Howard and I will get into them as we speak. So we'll start it off now. And it is that exact question here, Howard. Damien Williams or Alexander Mattison, even if Dalvin Cook plays?
I mean, that's a tough one right there. If Dalvin Cook plays, you got to figure that Madison's going to get the second half work. Listen, I like Damien Williams. I think he's in a very good spot this week. I think that, I would be, I'm using him in DFS in a number of places. Now, that's obviously, he's also probably the only starting running back who's got the cheapest price tag on him. Mm-hmm. If they're going to utilize him in the same way that they use Montgomery, right, then you're talking about 15 to 17 touches. You're talking about a good, not a great matchup, but a good matchup. But you're also looking at, possible checkdowns from Justin Fields. I mean, he's still trying to find his way. Right. So I feel like if Cook is active, then you're going to want to use Damien Williams. I think if Cook is out, then Madison's your guy.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the big one, right? Obviously, we saw what Madison did the other week when Cook was out of the lineup, was an RB1. So I'm with you on that one. We have if Cook plays, a lot of people would Cook and Madison as handcuffs here. If Cook plays Madison or Andrews, I'm guessing this is Mark Andrews, right? Because what other Andrews would there be? So in a flex, would you play Madison or Andrews in a PPR league?
I would do Madison even if Cook plays.
Okay, interesting. That's
listen,
it's Mark Andrews. That's a tough one for me. He's the number one target on that team, and he's been a lot of volume lately.
What's Andrews been doing?
I mean, but the Colts secondary and defense is banged up. So, yeah.
Right. You're talking about he's averaging 6 targets per game.
Yeah, but I mean that's fine. Like I said, I think he had 100 yards a couple weeks ago against Detroit. He had 8 targets last week. There's just you're banking on that split workload potential production. I think Andrews is the safer play. I'll say, right? If you just need points, I think Andrews is where we're gonna go for me personally.
All right, and I'll go with Madison.
All right. Need one. We don't need a pen yet. Allen Robinson, Hunter Renfrow, Michael Pittman, or Tim Patrick.
We only need one?
Yeah.
Allen Robinson, Hunter Renfrow. Oh, jeez.
Pittman or Patrick?
Yeah. I think I'd probably lean Pittman here. He's definitely getting volume in that offense. They are going to have to throw if they're going to want to keep pace. You are getting Carson Wentz at full speed now. Finally, he hasn't done a full practice since week 1, so seeing him in there was definitely encouraging. Yeah, I'd probably go with Pittman on this one.
Next question we got here: need 2: Galladay, Sutton, Waddle, or Mooney.
Oh, geez. Well, Galladay's probably going to see a lot of Trevon Diggs in this one, so I don't necessarily know how much I like that. I did hear a word that Diggs could end up shadowing him.
Yeah.
Which would be a no there. I think I'd probably lean Waddle for the volume that he's been getting, and I figure, in this Miami-Tampa game, Tampa's secondary's definitely been banged up, and Jacoby Brissett is going to need to lean on some passing because otherwise, they're not going to be able to keep pace with the Bucs. So I think I'd lean Waddle on this one.
Yeah, I've been a Waddle guy. I mean, listen, we saw Mac Jones.
Yeah, we've seen you walk.
Throw all over them last week, so over Tampa Bay. So I'm with you in on that one. Next question here: PPR, Chuba Hubbard, Tyler Boyd, Marvin Jones. Need one.
Oh, give me Marvin. Give me Marvin against this trash secondary for Tennessee. And I'll say this also. As I was building some GPP lineups, if you're looking for that contrarian play, like everybody's talking about Laviska Shenault. Like, how is Marvin Jones going to be your GPP contrarian play? I've tucked him into a number of spots just because ownership is expected to be lower than it is on Shenault.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. And it's. The upside for him, I think, is higher because he scores touchdowns. We haven't really seen Shenault do that yet. So, need 2: Chase Edmonds, Hollywood Brown, Allen Robinson, Chuba Hubbard.
I would go with Hollywood Brown definitely for 1. Why don't you pick the other?
I mean, if Edmonds plays, I would love him, but I don't know. We're not going to know. Well, yeah,
he's expected to play. According
all right,
to
then I do Edmonds. I'll do Chase Edmonds here.
Who's your pivot if he doesn't play? Is there a late game pivot there available?
Yeah, it's no, it's not, right? Is A-Rob a 1 o'clock or?
Oh no, Allen Robinson is definitely the one. Okay, so perfect. Allen Robinson is your pivot off of Chase Edmonds if he doesn't play.
Yeah, so that's what we'll go there. PPR need 2: Fournette, Higgins, or Sanders.
Say that one more time. PPR.
Yeah, need 2. Fournette, Higgins, or Emmanuel Sanders.
Ooh. I mean, definitely Higgins. I like Higgins in this matchup against Green Bay. I kind of feel like Fournette is a little bit of a sneaky play. This is a tough one here because maybe I just go Sanders because it's the PPR format. Because they are going to have to throw against the Chiefs. But I feel like Fournette is a real sneaky play here against Miami. I think it's a terrible run defense. I think I might go Fournette and Higgins with this duo.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Fournette and Higgins here as well. Well, it's close, but I like it. Sanders in that matchup against the Chiefs is definitely appealing, but Fournette could run all over Miami and get a lot of volume, so I'll go with you there. RB half-point PPR needs one. Nyheim Hines. Samaje Perine's out because Mixon's going to play, or Kenyon Drake.
I think he's got to go Drake. I think Hines is also struggling with an injury. Is Hines might be a game time decision? What do I see? Oh no, he's off the. He's cleared for Monday Night Football.
I'm gonna play Hines.
Yeah, as long as he's not hurt. Yeah, I'm gonna play Hines over Drake too.
Yep. I know you went over this, but playing Cook and Mixon, do I put Madison and Mixon's spot or game? No, you play Mixon. And then you have to decide if you want to play Cook or Madison, right? You're not going to play Cook and Madison. So, correct. Would you play Cook, Madison, or Gainwell today, Howard? Then, assuming Mixon is in the lineup.
Cook, Madison, or Gainwell?
Yeah.
If Cook is active, him. If Cook is out, Madison.
Yeah,
Gainwell comes in third. Here's the can we talk about Gainwell here for a second, because this is kind of an interesting one. I'm sure you're getting bombarded with questions about it. I get it. Miles Sanders is trash, right? This has been.
No, he's not trash. They're not using him.
They're not using
even
him.
Worse. He's very good running back. I don't know why they don't give him the football.
But would you start if you had Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell? Would you be starting Gainwell?
No, I would not.
Right. So I mean, that's that's the thing that I think a lot of people are missing. Right. I think that Gainwell is still the backup to Miles Sanders, and he might be seeing some usage right now, but it's not a lot of usage, and he's never I don't think he's ever going to completely take over this job in Philly. I think at worst, at best, it's always going to be a split.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, he's an explosive runner. He's a guy that averages almost 5 yards a carry for his career, but they just, I don't know. He either doesn't pass block well, or he doesn't really catch the football well, and for those reasons, they just don't put him on the field. It's unfortunate. So it's frustrating. Next question here, Howard. Half PPR, Joe Mixon, Latavius Murray.
Half PPR, gonna go Joe Mixon.
Yep, Joe Mixon.
If he's healthy enough to play people,
yeah,
then you play him. I mean, look at the volume that he's been getting. Now, I still think that this is a game where Joe Burrow throws 35 to 40 times, and maybe they pull back a little bit on Mixon's volume, but he's still the starting running back here. He's still going to get the work near the goal line. He's still going to be active in this offensive scheme.
Green Bay is also 27th in DVOA against the run. So not good there. So yes, if Mixon is, we're assuming he's training towards playing. So throw him in your lineup there for sure. Full PPR, Josh Jacobs, Zach Moss, Latavius Murray need 2.
I'm sorry. I just realized the Jets scored a touchdown, so I missed that question there. I did hear a Zach Moss.
You did. Zach Moss, Latavius Murray, Josh Jacobs need 2.
I'm going to go Moss and Jacobs.
Moss and Jacobs there. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Who scored that touchdown?
It was a Ty Johnson 1-yard run, right? Of course you wouldn't give that to Michael Carter.
I didn't start Corey Davis, but I would like to see more Corey Davis for trade value purposes in some fantasy leagues that I have. RB2 and a flex, so it looks like they need 2 of these players here. Howard in a PPR. Chase Edmonds, Alexander Madison. You can get a pencil out. There's 6 guys here. Well, I'll give you the heads up. All right, Edmonds, let me know when you're ready.
Madison.
Yeah, Latavius Murray, Kenneth Gainwell, Tim Patrick, Curtis Samuel. Need a running back and a flex.
Well, I'm going Chase Edmonds.
Yeah,
as the running back. I'm going Madison if he, I think I'm going Madison no matter what.
You're going to go Madison no matter what here? What if Sutton is out? Would you play Patrick?
Oh, yeah. Sutton is playing, though, John.
Sutton is active. Well,
so the point is moot.
All right, point is moot then. Fine. We'll give you your Alexander Madison play.
Well, I mean, would you prefer Latavius Murray or Gainwell?
I mean, Latavius Murray got a lot of volume last week, so it's a run-first offense.
Oh, there you go. So Stefania Bell of ESPN reports that Dalvin Cook left the field during warm-ups, and it does not look good.
All right. Well, that's good news. Well, it's bad news for Cook, but like good news for clarity in terms of fantasy. So, fire up Alexander Madison if that ends up being the case. Of course, it's a 1:00 game, Howard, which is the best part of all of this. We'll know. We'll know before we have to if he's going to be active or not. So, get ready to get those lineups.
I'm going to have to do a major overhaul of some lineups here. If Madison is if he's the lead back, that's a totally different ball game now.
Exactly.
Holy crap!
I mean, listen, you're going to pivot probably from Williams to Madison in this case, right? Damien Williams might become a contrarian play all of a sudden after being the chalk all day. So something worth paying attention to there. I mean, this is a question, I guess. Would you play Madison over Gibson?
Yes, in a heartbeat. If Cook is out, yes.
Okay. Next question here. Mooney or Sutton as a PPR?
I think I'd probably prefer Sutton.
Yeah. I mean, even though Fields only targeted Mooney last week, that Pittsburgh pass defense hasn't been very good.
Yeah. I'm also hearing, according to Adam Schefter, Devonte Parker downgraded to out for today's game.
I mean, listen, one of my favorite plays this week, Howard, is we talked about Jalen Waddle already, but I really like Mike Gesicki. We saw the Tampa Bay defense last week give up touchdowns to both Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry last week. Their secondary is decimated both at safety and at cornerback position there. I think that someone like Gesicki, who lines up basically in the slot for the majority of the time and has at least had the eye of Jacoby Brissett over these past few weeks, Gesicki for me, might be one of the top tight end plays on the board today.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it could be. He definitely could be. I'm having a really hard time with that mid-tier of tight ends and whether or not they are going to hit or they're not going to hit, just because, with the top guys taken off the slate, I've very much been, I've looked at that mid-tier and it's really tough to get a handle on who's going to do it and who isn't. I know that you like Gesicki, but again, is Tampa's pass rush going to affect Brissett? It's still Jacoby Brissett. That's the problem.
Yeah, it is still Jacoby Brissett, but I'm just saying, like, that defense is so bad. And again, I'm just looking at it from what I've watched of the Patriots offense. They haven't been explosive. They're ranked 27th in scoring. They haven't been a good, they're not up there in terms of passing offense either. And Mac Jones completed like 75% of his passes for almost 300 yards and 2 scores. They can't stop anybody. So, when it comes to throwing the football, and you can't run against them. They have one of the best run defenses in football. So, even if they're, behind or ahead, like, they're going to throw the football regardless today. So Brissett could suck and still throw for like 270 yards, right? It's just, it's just something that could happen here. So, we'll see. We'll see what's going on. Let's see. We got that one. Damien Williams or Zach Moss? Oh, sorry. It's Damien Williams, Zach Moss, Darnell Mooney in a full PPR.
Damien Williams, Zach Moss, or Darnell Mooney?
Yeah.
I'm going Damien Williams here.
Yeah. The Moss one is just interesting because of the touchdowns that he's been having, but it's Kansas City. But I'm probably in agreement with you there. I'm going to go ahead and go with Williams as well. All right, get a pen. We need 5.
Come on, no way.
Sit 2. So they need to sit 2 of these 5. We're setting this guy's lineup for him.
Yeah, folks, you gotta listen. Depending on who the names are here, you need to do better with learning how to set your lineups. You've got weekly rankings up on the website. All right, you see the news. You read all the content here. We shouldn't be setting the majority of your lineup. Like, that's just that shouldn't be. We're supposed to be teaching you guys the process here. So turning around and being like, I need, 5 guys for my lineup or 3 out of these 5, that's kind of pushing it, because I guarantee you that there's going to be a name or two in here that I'm going to be like, are you serious? Like, why are you asking this question?
Those names are AJ Brown and Adam Thielen. Of course, you were playing them today.
Are those guys both in that question?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, like that's lazy. That's lazy. I don't mean to be a dick here, but that's just lazy, people. Like that, to sit there and ask the question about Adam Thielen or AJ Brown. But all right, here you go. So AJ Brown, Adam Thielen, who else?
Yeah, AJ Brown, Adam Thielen, Allen Robinson, Chuba Hubbard, Latavius Murray, OBJ, Antonio Brown. They need to sit 2 of those players.
I'm going to sit A-Rob and Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, I'm going to sit A-Rob. I mean, the Eagles' run defense is not very good in terms of DVOA, but I don't know if they're going to give Chuba enough volume in this game to.
Well, he also doesn't get those goal line looks. Sam Darnold keeps taking those, and he keeps looking for the passing scheme too.
Yeah, no,
I mean, it comes down to, like, A-Rob is definitely a sit. It comes down to Chuba Hubbard versus Latavius Murray, basically.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna sit Chuba though as well. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
PPR flex, Claypool, Latavius Murray, Tyson Williams, who's inactive last week. I think Tyson Williams is probably droppable if he's not active this week again, and then Kenneth Gainwell. So Claypool, Murray, or Gainwell PPR.
I'll probably go Latavius Murray here. I don't really know. I know Claypool's banged up. I thought he was a game time decision.
I thought they upgraded him to active there.
Do they? I mean, I wouldn't mind. Yeah. Okay. Listen. Yeah, I wouldn't mind using him against the Broncos.
Yep, I'm with you there. Full PPR need 2: Najee Harris, James Robinson, Alexander Madison.
Well, Najee Harris is a must play, because even with a crap offensive line, he's still seeing targets in the passing game. That shouldn't be a question. It comes down to, whether or not Cook plays. If Cook doesn't play, then use Madison. If Cook does play, then don't.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to get the official word that he is out, so that would be good just to plug in Madison 100% there. So
I would too, folks. If you're waiting for the example lineups, I just updated the sheet here. Just expect a delay, because if we get word while I'm here on the live stream that Dalvin Cook is out, I'm going to need to adjust lineup. So just be aware.
With that being, I don't know where you were on this Vikings passing attack this week. I mean, listen, they're 30th. The Lions are 30th in DVOA against the pass as well. I was leaning more Cousins, Jefferson, with the idea that Cook was going to play but be limited. But if he is out and Madison is going to get all of that volume, would you then back off of this Vikings passing game at all?
I don't know if I would totally back off from it. They're not gonna give Madison 30 carries.
They gave him 26 against Seattle.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying, the one game that Cook was in, he got 26. He went for 112. He also had 6 catches on 8 targets. Madison did.
Yeah, I don't know if they'd give up on that. Let's see. I'm looking up his pricing everywhere now, right?
He's 55 on DraftKings. I mean, that is
55 on DK is awesome. He's 65 on FanDuel, and then on Yahoo. Let's see. Let me go to. Oops, that's the wrong one.
I think it's $20 on Yahoo.
He is 20 on Yahoo. Correct. I'm sorry, Matt.
Is inactive cells? Is that what you're saying?
There you go. Dalvin Cook inactive. Get him out of your lineups. Pivot to Madison. I'll be doing all of that fun stuff in the lineups after this live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Listen, you knew you had to know as soon as he came out this week was yeah, my ankle's not really 100%, but we'll see what goes on. You're like, well, what are you doing, Minnesota? Why are you Why are you out there playing him? It also goes to not to stick the knife into all these seasonal fantasy owners, but the number 1 overall pick, Christian McCaffrey, out. Now you have Dalvin Cook out. Running back again becoming a bit of a nightmare for those early investors in the running back position. While everybody kind of downplays the 0 RB strategy, Howard, I think maybe next year the push for it may even be higher.
It might be. Just saying.
Just saying.
Is that what you're doing? Are you just saying?
Just throwing it out there. A few more questions here, Howard. Standard league. Need a 1 wide receiver and 1 running back. For the wide receivers, we have Allen Robinson, Tyler Boyd, Laviska Shenault, and Jacoby Myers. For the running backs, it's Antonio Gibson or Chuba Hubbard.
Well, I'm going Chuba over Gibson because listen, if this dude's got a stress fracture in his leg, and they haven't been utilizing him to his full extent anyway, I got to go with Chuba. So, and then I'll go with Shenault. It's either Shenault or Myers for me, but I'll go with Shenault in the soft matchup.
Yeah, even in a standard league, I think Shenault, because of no Chark, has a little bit more upside than he maybe did before, where he was just a volume, got low ADOT guy. I think last week his ADOT was almost 13. So if they're going to throw downfield to him a little bit more, it helps that upside for him. Let's see where we have Pollard or Damien Harris this week.
I'm going with Damien Harris here against Houston. I think he gets volume. I think Bill just kills the clock at the end.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I was actually surprised. Now, this is where I think sometimes stats are a little bit misleading. Houston actually ranks 8th in DVOA against the pass this year, but they're 31st in DVOA against the run. Is it that they're good against the pass quotations because teams are just running on them because they have such a high lead? They're not like burning them through the air, and it's not really a competitive game. Or are they actually decent against the pass? And it's even more of a reason for Damien Harris to be in the lineups today. It's one of those sample size questions I always have.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably more the latter than anything else.
Yeah. Alexander Madison or Kenny Golladay in a full PPR?
Madison,
I agree with you. Let
me ask you, John, Madison or Damien Williams?
Madison, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, going in line. Again, just the fact that they gave him all that volume, plus he took, 6 catches on 8 targets is nothing to, snub your nose at either, Howard. So, if he was just going to be a guy that didn't catch the football, they just handed it off to him and there was none of that other upside to him, I would probably, it'd be a closer play for me. But no, if he's going to get PPR work, reception work as well, I'm going to go ahead and bite into that for sure. Let's see. Do we have any more questions coming in? Howard, that's it for questions right now. I'll see if more come in. If anybody's watching and wants their start-sit questions answered by Howard and I, go ahead and throw it into the chat. So we'll be here to help. But we got 25 minutes, Howard, till this is live stream is over today. Any other stories you're looking for? Any other matchups? You did the playbook, obviously the example lineups, the dartboard. What's a matchup that you're really looking to hammer today?
I'm not really sure what a good matchup is that I'm looking to hammer today. Right now, in all honesty, listen, if we're going to talk about, from a DFS standpoint, and shifting around, I guess stacks. Why don't we talk about stacks? What are some of your favorite ones? Like I put out in the example lineups write up, I put out what stacks that I'm in on for today. What's going to be chalky, what's going to be more of a low owned stack. Your thoughts, because mine are already out there on paper. I've already got stars next to certain guys and who I like and who I don't like. So what's your favorite stack to use for today?
There's a bunch of different ways we can go here. I've been looking at this Bengals stack, especially on DraftKings, because they're all so cheap. You get Joe Burrow at 6,100, you get T. Higgins at 5K, and what is Chase 58? I think, Howard. That's a prime core stack that you could put your lineups in, under $6,000 at the receiver position. It allows you still to spend up to get, Derrick Henry in your lineup today, especially now that everybody's playing Alexander Mattison. There's almost no other excuse not to play Derrick Henry because there's just more value to go into your lineups there. So that matchup going up against Green Bay, we know no Jair Alexander. We know their secondary is in shambles now as well. That's my top stack. That's the one I keep on waffling between. When I've been building my lineups today, it's been between Cousins with Jefferson, or I've been looking at Burrow, going with the T. Higgins, who's been really good when active, or Jamar Chase. Knowing the matchup there, knowing that Aaron Rodgers can make this one a shootout. He can put up points on the Cincinnati defense and force the Bengals to go back and forth and score. And this is just a 2.5 point spread. So Vegas is expecting it to be a competitive matchup. So, with Madison, active now, do I push away from Cousins and Jefferson a little bit, thinking the volume could definitely be there for Madison, and go Burrow? And then I know that, the cover guy of your watch list this week was Trevor Lawrence. You and I have talked a lot about the value at receiver. Laviska Shenault. We talked about Marvin Jones, being two really great targets in this matchup against Tennessee, which is, one of the worst defenses in football. But I also like Dan Arnold, like I talked about. He's in the Contrarian Corner video that was put out today. He's $2,900 over on DraftKings. He's $10 on Yahoo. I think he's like $13 on, or not $13. I think he's like $47, I think, on FanDuel. Basically min price across the board. And this is a guy that last Monday was traded from Carolina to Jacksonville and then played the Thursday night football game for Jacksonville and saw 33% of the snaps. We've seen guys like James O'Shaughnessy play 80% of the snaps. Jacob Hollister 2 weeks ago played almost 70% of the snaps. They brought in Dan Arnold to be this part of their offense. He's going to be a guy that we could see play 50 to 60% of the snaps today as a pass catching option. He's only a pass catcher. He's not a blocker. And while you've talked to me about reasons why you were kind of iffy on him, because Tennessee, against the tight end, their numbers look good, but you look at the teams that they've played, those teams don't really feature their tight end. They're not a part of their offense like someone like Dan Arnold could be, especially without DJ Chark. So, if you're looking for a punt play at tight end this week, and maybe you're not in on Ricky Seals-Jones at $2,500, Dan Arnold on DraftKings at $2,900. I think is a pretty good pivot. Now, I know I am high on Dan Arnold all season, so maybe there's a little bias to that. But if you're going Jaguars today, Trevor Lawrence with like a Marvin Jones and Dan Arnold, I think could be interesting.
That's definitely an interesting one. Yeah, I would say my listen, I love that Jaguars stack just to check it out and see what else you can get in there. I like a Cincinnati stack. I believe that the Bengals will be a team. I think they can upset the Packers here. The Packers defense, not strong. They've got Joe Mixon there, so now you gotta look at the run. If you're Green Bay, you've got to play the run differently, knowing that Mixon's going to be there. You've got T. Higgins returning to the lineup as well. So yeah, this is to me it's a nice little option here because I think Joe Burrow throws because I don't necessarily know if Mixon is really 100%. So I like that stack there. I like the Bengals. I like the Jaguars. I like doing an Arizona stack. It's dirty, but I might have to get some AJ Green into my life here and do like a Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, and AJ Green. Because coming on the opposite side there, a tight end we haven't mentioned. How about San Francisco's Ross Dwelly? You've got a guy like, an offensive scheme like San Francisco's that funnels targets to the tight end with no George Kittle.
Right.
That does kind of make a better case for Ross Dwelly, who, has some, he's got some skills. We've seen him get some volume before in the past, and that dude is super cheap.
Yeah, he is. And it's, it's a matchup for sure. I'm not really in on the 49ers offense here against Arizona. I think that Arizona's defense we've proven, this year to be legit. Last week was the litmus test for me going up against the Rams, and they blew them out on the road. They turned the ball over on Stafford. They got after him. Now you have a rookie quarterback making his starting debut in Arizona. Lance last week, he had 20 fantasy points and a half of football. He only completed 50% of his passes, and one of those was a completely broken play by the Seattle defense that left Deebo Samuel completely uncovered. And it was like, a flick of the wrist to him, and Samuel ran the 70 yards the rest of the way for the score. I know you can't take away production, but that's kind of a fluky play. If you do kind of ignore that part, you really didn't look very good. And this is still an offense that wants to run the football. They're getting Elijah Mitchell back this week, so I'm not really in. I know he's value there. I know you want someone to come back in that game. I just worry. That's my problem with paying up today from Kyler, because I know he's explosive. But if this one gets out early, do they just hand it off to Connor to kill a clock? Like, where do they go in this one? So I want to have exposure to Kyler Murray. I don't know what wide receiver to pair him with. I know you said AJ Green, and he's a good value. Hopkins hasn't really looked, great in terms of fantasy production since week 1. You can't really trust Rondale Moore or Christian Kirk. So there's a lot of questions there. For me, it could be like just a one-off play with Kyler. Play him by himself almost. And let his running ability, and hope you score on the touchdowns there. So because it's hard for me to guess. So we got a few more questions now popping in here, Howard. Herbert or Burrow today?
Give me Joe Burrow today.
Joe Burrow. Yeah, we already talked about that. I like in Cleveland's defense is pretty good. So even though they're on the road, it's going to be tough to trust Herbert there. And then we got Zach Moss or CEH in a standard league.
Zach Moss or CEH in a standard league? I'll go Moss in the standard league. He's the guy who gets those the goal line work for sure.
Mm-hmm. We got some DFS questions here. Cousins and Thielen, is that a good stack for today?
Cousins and Thielen. We just kind of went over that, right? What do you think? Is that a good stack? Would you be interested? Is that a stack that you'd be interested in there, John?
Yeah. Again, I think it's more people will be looking at Jefferson. So Thielen in his red zone upside can actually be a nice little pivot off of that one. Babyface Grande wants to know why we're not talking about Giants Cowboys, Howard. Highest game total on the board today. Giants offense, they're missing Sterling Shepard and they're missing Darius Slayton. But Saquon Barkley's looked very good. He's playing almost 90% of the snaps. He's had 11 catches on 13 targets the last 2 weeks. We saw Kenny Golladay go over 100 yards last week. And then we talked about Diggs potentially shadowing him. They got Evan Ingram back. And then the flip side, we have, the Cowboys offense. Lamb and Cooper haven't looked great. Dalton Schultz has been getting all the touchdowns. And Zeke Elliott is looking like his old self here.
And Zeke Elliott is looking like his old self here. Listen, I've got a stack already. It's Dak, it's Zeke, it's CeeDee Lamb, and then I've got Kadarius Toney as the guy coming back. I think that Toney does have some upside as far as some gimmick stuff. I think that the Giants know that they need to throw some random stuff at the Cowboys if they're going to want to try and keep pace. And let's face facts. If Toney's coming out of the slot, that's Jordan Lewis, who's the slot corner for the Cowboys. That is definitely their weak spot for sure.
Yeah. Toney looked good last week for sure. And use a first round pick on him. I think Giants fans are a little relieved to see him actually be productive for a game. So we'll see if that continues here. Any Saint wide receivers you're looking to throw darts at today?
Any Saints wide receivers?
Yeah, Washington secondary is not good. Against the pass this year, Howard, they rank 29th in DVOA.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Okay. You
want to go Deontay Harris?
I guess Callaway. Right? If you're playing multiple lineups today, the Saints don't really intrigue me. But would it shock you if, end of the day, Millie Maker winner has Jameis Winston with Alvin Kamara and Marquez Callaway in it or something like that? With all the how bad they're passing off the defenses.
It wouldn't be the weirdest thing in the world, no.
No, it wouldn't be the weirdest thing in the world. If you're looking to get...
So let me ask you this here, because, I'm going through, as we're talking here, I'm also going through the lineup, so there's not too much of a delay for our subscribers here.
Yeah.
Would you pivot to Madison basically everywhere, or are you going to leave some spots here for Damien Williams?
So I think the entire industry is about to pivot to Alexander Mattison. So if you're multi-entering, if you're doing a 3-max or, any of them, the mass multi-entry GPPs, I think it makes sense to leave some Damien Williams in there. But I feel like the Vikings offense has more upside than the Bears offense does. The Bears are on the road against Las Vegas, and the Vikings are home against the Lions. I mean, this is a situation where we talk all the time, Howard, of good chalk, bad chalk. Mm-hmm. Alexander Mattison to me is good chalk. Yeah, I was very uneasy about playing Damien Williams this week. I mean, it's Damien Williams. I mean, he's not like he's okay. He's not a stud, right? Like sometimes there's an infatuation of playing the next man up. Like, oh, this guy's in the starting lineup. He's going to get touches. Like, we have to play him. That's the case when he's like $4,000. But you are paying $5,600 for Damien Williams this week. It's like, the value is not there really. Like, I don't know if I can trust this offense with Nagy and Lance. Like, I know he had that touchdown run last week, but like, can you trust that volume? Like, there's a lot for me. I was very unsure about Damien Williams to where like, I'm just going to play Mattison because I believe in Mattison as a player. I believe in how the offense runs with him there, the offense at home against a bad Lions team. Like, I like a lot more of this situation. But I think a lot of people are looking at the same thing where they were probably sitting there like, yeah, like Williams is good. He's probably the chalk. I'll play him because he's in the mid-tier. But now they're like, oh, Madison's better. I'm going to play him instead. So if you're in a 3-max, like leave one lineup with Damien Williams. If you're single entering, just play the chalk with Madison. I think today you play chalk with like Henry and Madison. And then maybe you get a little bit different, at wide receiver or your quarterback position.
Cash games, no matter what, Madison.
Yeah. That's where I'm at for sure. Howard, are we concerned at all about Casey Hayward shutting down Allen Robinson like he did Mike Williams? I'm concerned about the Bears offense shutting down Allen Robinson.
I'm just concerned in general about Allen Robinson.
Like they have all season long. Yeah, I mean, sure. Casey Hayward is a legit cornerback. It's just at some point, Allen Robinson has to start getting plays or volume or something, right? Like he's the best receiver on the team. It could just be the fact that teams know that and they're looking at what the Bears are throwing out there and they're like, let Darnell Mooney go for 100 yards. I'm not letting Allen Robinson go for 150 and 2. Defenses could very much just be taking that approach with them. So, yeah, I'm a little worried, sure, but it's not Casey Hayward. It's just been the body of work right now. He's averaging like 8 fantasy points per game or something like that. It's been pretty rough. Amari Cooper, Jacoby Myers today, Howard.
I mean, I'll lean Amari Cooper here, but I added Jacoby Myers late to the playbook because I was looking at it, I'm like, man, 26 targets over the last 2 games. That's something you got to pay attention to, right? So
I'm a little here. Let me ask how much an impact you take when it comes to these things. Vegas has Jacoby Myers receptions prop today at 5.5, and it's even money for Myers. Now, this is a number that he's eclipsed in 3 of the 4 weeks. You mentioned all the targets they have. I get a little nervous seeing that number than seeing the even money play on it against this bad Houston team. Is this an indication that they're just going to run the ball like we think and they're not going to throw as much? So Myers isn't going to get the 6 catches today? Or, how much do you take into account player props when it comes to DFS?
I would say, like, for that one, it's a little unnerving. It's definitely a little unnerving. When I'm sitting there and I'm, when you're looking at a guy like Jacoby Myers who's getting double-digit targets for the last one, is that Vegas's way of saying, well, they're just going to run the ball? But, 5.5, that still seems a little low just for the volume that Jacoby Myers is getting. I would say that, if it were another team, right? It wasn't the Patriots who just kind of throw everything at you anyway. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if I would. I'm not ready to pivot off of Jacoby Myers yet just because of the prop.
Yeah, I mean, I'm largely in the same boat as you here as well. Let me ask you this, Howard. This is or maybe it's a waste of time question, but we're talking about the Patriots running game. We know Damien Harris has not looked good to this point in the season. Last we get a negative rushing yard. JJ Taylor is inactive today, but Ramondre Stevenson is active. Would you throw any darts on I think he's min price. I don't. I'm trying to. DraftKings is slow to load for me right now. But if Stevenson is $3,000 today or $4,000, would you have any interest in a dart throw over Ramondre Stevenson? He's a preseason darling of everybody's.
He was definitely the preseason darling. I don't know if I'm ready to do that. Okay. Listen, I think if you're a multi-lineup guy, then okay, maybe. But I don't necessarily know if I'm going to, really make that pivot just to throw a dart. Because let's face it. What's he gonna? He's not gonna have anything in yardage.
Well, it depends. He's $4,000. Now, listen, I agree. It would have to be Damien Harris looks awful to start the game, and then Stevenson breaks a big run, right? Like, we know how Belichick runs his offense. Like, you guys go in the doghouse and they don't play the rest of the game. So if Harris comes out and doesn't look good, like Stevenson could get 15 carries today. I'm just throwing it up there because Taylor is inactive, and that means Brandon Bolden is going to be the pass catching back today. So you can lock in probably Bolden, I think, Howard, if you're looking for a PPR option. He had 6 catches, I think it was last week in PPR. So, if you're looking to play the Patriots, check down back with Mac Jones, Brandon Bolden had 11.1 fantasy points last week. He's also $4,000, Howard. So no Taylor locks in Bolden into that role because Harris and Stevenson are not pass catching backs. Would you have any interest in a Brandon Bolden at 4K?
Again, you're throwing darts. You're throwing darts. Would you? What about using J.D. McKissick? He's super cheap, and there's a stress fracture for Antonio Gibson. Would you use McKissick?
So I like McKissick. I think McKissick will be a little bit more popular than maybe you think today for that reason. Knowing the sort of publicized injury there a bit on Gibson and McKissick's recent usage. He had 17 fantasy points last week. He had 22 weeks prior. He's 5K. I don't mind it. Again, DraftKings only for me because it's a full PPR there. But yeah, you're talking about the who's available for Washington this week in terms of receivers. There's no Logan Thomas. There's no Diami Brown. Someone up to Sims, right? Sims is out as well. McKissick could very much be out there. We don't know how limited Samuel's going to be in his second game back after being, limited in practice all week. I actually like the McKissick call, Howard. I think there's a real good chance for him this week to give you 5 or 6 receptions. And we'll see if he finds the end zone. He's got 2 touchdowns in 3 weeks. So not a bad call. He's definitely probably a safer play than Bolden. But if you need like the $1,000, I'm just thinking stars and scrubs type of lineup here.
Yeah. We
got some more questions here. Let's we got a couple minutes left. Let's fire them out. Burrow or Prescott today?
Burrow or Prescott? I got to go Dak. You got to go Dak in this one, right? Okay. You have to.
Yeah, the matchup would dictate Dak, the point spread and everything like that. It's just like, I just don't know who to play him with. Like the receivers have been so bad, and do you really want to trust Dalton Schultz? Is he going to keep scoring touchdowns? That's the question I have when it comes to Prescott there. PPR, Javonte Williams or T. Higgins?
Javonte Williams or T. Higgins? Give me T. Higgins.
It's Jalen Waddle. He said Damien Waddle, or Emmanuel Sanders.
Waddle or Sanders?
Yeah.
Ooh. I guess I would probably go Sanders just because of the high expected total. For that one.
It's not like the high expected total; it's his usage lately too. He's been the number 2 targeted guy there on that team. Beasley not even being looked at last week, so I think Sanders is taking that one. P. Ryan, Gaskins, or Bolden in a 1-point PPR. I think it's Brandon Bolden, Howard.
P. Ryan, Gaskins, or Bolden? Yeah, you can't. Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, there you go. There's your.
If there was ever a scenario where Brandon Bolden was the best option, it's right there. You're going to go Brandon Bolden, 1 PPR. Hey, like I said, no JJ Taylor. I actually think it's not a terrible play. Hawkinson or Dan Arnold? Do you think Hawkinson will be limited at all after his week of practice here against Minnesota?
I feel like Hawk could be a little limited here against Minnesota, but who's the other guy?
Dan Arnold.
I know you like Arnold. I just don't like I get it. Your argument against DVOA against the tight end for Tennessee is that maybe they just haven't faced anybody who features a tight end. I don't necessarily know if Jacksonville really features the tight end either, but
well, I mean, from a snap share standpoint, like their starting tight end plays, 60 to 80% given just recent usages of the tight ends, so
what about his routes run? Like snaps is one, no, snaps are great, but what about routes run?
Yeah, so that's the thing. So Andrew Cooper, Coupe Fiasco, follow him on Twitter. When James O'Shaughnessy played 80% of the snaps in week 1, he came out and said he was getting like the same usage as Travis Kelce out of the slot. And the same thing with Jacob Hollister. They're using their tight end as like a big slot. They're not pass blocking at all. He had like the third best snap share for a tight end. O'Shaughnessy did a few weeks back before he was injured for how they were using him. And then this past week on the Fantasy Alarm podcast I do with Andrew Cooper, he talked about when Urban Meyer was in Florida, Aaron Hernandez was their leading receiver at tight end because how he uses his tight end. He lines them up in the slot. He plays that big slot role, and they love featuring that type of guy in their offense. And then I looked at Arnold last week. On 3 days' notice, he plays a third of the snaps, and they actually had plays for him, designed opportunities for him to get the football. And he could have even had a touchdown had Lawrence looked his way in the red zone one time. Now he still finished with 2 catches on 2 targets. Hawkinson's probably the guy you're going to go with, but I'm telling you, look at Arnold moving forward. I think there's a real chance. And just to answer that question, Howard, for you, Tennessee, they played Arizona week 1. They played Seattle with no Gerald Everett in week 2. They played the Colts in week 3, 3 catches for 24 yards. And last week they played your Jets and Ryan Griffin. So it's not really teams that are using their tight end here. So
did Max Williams score a touchdown in week 1?
No.
You sure?
Yeah. It was week 2 and 4, I think.
I was trying to help your cause here, but
yeah.
Listen, I know you like Dan Arnold. I know you want in on it. You're all over it.
Let me see how Tennessee comes out of the next 3 games: Jacksonville, Buffalo, Kansas City. If they're shutting down tight ends after the Dan Arnold, Dawson Knox, Travis Kelce run, I'll believe you.
Okay.
I
mean, listen, I don't think that's the thing is like what's necessary. Like, right. Are the corners so bad? Is the defensive backfield so bad for Tennessee that you don't need to feature the tight end in the passing attack? That you've got Marvin Jones and you've got Laviska Shenault, right? That do you need to utilize Dan Arnold in that passing attack? I mean, listen, I think
they're going to give him the snaps for me. That's the question. It's like, do they throw to him? But he's going to be out there running routes. That's just the way this offense runs. They're going to give the opportunity, to those guys to catch the football. I mean, we saw, the way they use their tight end. So that's just, we'll see. I agree with you. It's not a must, and I'm definitely playing Hawkinson over him. I'm just interested to see how Arnold moves forward, with this team. One last question here, Howard, before we go: Robinson or Gibson?
I'll go Gibson here. Who the hell knows what's going on with the Bears passing attack? I prefer Robinson because Gibson's hurt, but
it's James Robinson.
Then James Robinson over Gibson in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
Yeah, James Robinson over Antonio Gibson there.
Yeah.
At 12 o'clock, Howard. Final thoughts here?
Final thoughts is I got to go fix those example lineups for everybody. So good luck in week 5, everybody.
Thanks so much, guys.
That's going to do it for us here at the Fantasy Alarm game day live stream. Good luck to you in week 5. Kick some ass, FA Nation. Go win some money. We'll talk to you next time.